Hello YouTube, it's Cold, and welcome to the Xinyan Quick Start Guide. Xinyan is a 4-star Claymore character who mainly focuses on doing physical damage, as well as providing a barrier for herself and her allies. With the current event, Labyrinth Warriors, you will be able to unlock a copy of Xinyan for free, so what better time to make the guide, yeah? Starting off with her talents. Xinyan's normal and plunge attack are pretty standard, and her charge attack slowly drains stamina over time to turn her into a Beyblade. All of these attacks does physical damage and scale off attack percentage unless you have Constellation. Next off to Xinyan's elemental skill. Xinyan swings her weapon, granting herself a barrier scaling with defense and the number of enemy hits. This barrier also infuses Xinyan with Pyro, meaning she can remove the Cryo or Electro debuff on herself, and it has a 250% absorption against Pyro damage, meaning this barrier is just much better against Pyro damage. At shield level 3, this barrier will also start to do AoE Pyro damage to nearby enemy every 2 seconds. This ability has an 18-second cooldown and a 12-second uptime. As for her scaling, this is where her problem lies. Her barrier scales based off defense, whereas all of her damage scales based off attack. Split scaling. One of the worst things that can happen to a 4-star character, and unfortunately she has it, making it very difficult to create a Xinyan that can both provide strong barrier and good damage at the same time. Xinyan's Elemental Burst ability is an AoE damaging ability that does physical damage in the center and pyro damage outside. The pyro damage portion of this ability will hit up to 7 times, and both the physical and the pyro damage scales based off attack percentage. This ability has a 15-second cooldown and a 60 energy cost. Xinyan's first passive reduces the amount of enemies you have to hit with your elemental skill by 1, and the second passive allows her barrier to provide a 15% physical damage bonus for her team. As for talent priorities, go for her elemental skill if you're looking for the barrier alone. Otherwise, for a damage build, go for her burst, then her normals, then her elemental skill. Xinyan's first constellation increases her attack speed by 12% whenever she lands a critical hit, which is a decent DPS increase. Xinyan's most important constellation is C2. This allows her elemental burst to always crit and generate a barrier upon cast, meaning you can potentially build a 0 crit rate full crit damage Xinyan just to spam elemental burst, but it will also increase your barrier uptime. You can maintain the shield much easier. C3 and C5 increases her talent level, and her C4 reduces the enemy physical resistance by 15% for 12 seconds. This is one of the few sources of physical resistance down in this game, the other one being Dongli's Barrier, and then Rosaria C6, and then Venti C2, as well as Superconduct, yeah? Superconduct reduces by 40%, whereas this constellation by 15%, so it's like a pseudo Superconduct. And lastly, her C6. Reduces charge attack stamina consumption by 30% and adds half of her defense into attack when she's spinning. This is why I'm building my Xinyan on defense percentage main stat, because it allows me to have a decent barrier while also doing good damage from my charge attack. The effects of this passive can be seen when you're actually spinning. So right now I have 2000 attack, but if I start my spin, I'll have 2700. Because half of my defense. This is a nice constellation because it kinda fixes her split scaling issues, but not by a lot. It's something, but I wish it would be better because her elemental burst still scales with attack. The only thing that scales with defense now is her barrier and charge attack. For artifact set recommendations, as of this patch, the physical damage bonus sets are pretty much the only way to go. Any other set bonus are rather trolly, so just go for 2 Pale Flame, 2 Bloodstain. As for artifact main stat, the flower will always be health, the feather will always be attack, For Sands, you can run either attack percentage or defense percentage depending on if you want a tankier barrier or just full damage. For your Goblet, physical damage is also the way to go once again, and for your Circlet, either crit rate or crit damage. For weapons, any of the 5-star weapon works fine on her. The damage difference between Wolf Gravestone, Song of Broken Pines, and Unforced isn't that much anyways. I guess Unforced gives you more barrier, so that's good. The other 2 weapon buffs your team, yeah? For Skyward Pride. Skyward Pride will provide the least burst damage out of the 4, but it provides more damage over time if you can land the 8 hits during the duration. Because this damage from Skyward also scales with physical damage. For 4-star weapon, you can run Snow Tomb, Prototype, or Luxurious Sea Lord. These 3 weapons once again will have relatively similar result. Luxurious Sea Lord is a limited time weapon, so I don't think you can get it anymore. White Blind for more barrier strength. And the best weapon, however, would be the Battle Pass weapon, giving you 27 crit rate and 30 to 50% more damage bonus, unless you take damage. But if you have a barrier, you will not lose stack of Serpent Spine. So if you're protected by a barrier, you won't lose stack of this passive. As for my current builds, this is my artifact stats. And this is my total stats with 2000 attack, 1400 defense, 76 crit rate, 146 crit damage, and 142 energy recharge. This is without any team resonance and without any buffs. Aside from that, Xinyan's place in the meta game of Genshin Impact isn't really up there because of her split scaling. She has to choose between building full damage or building full barrier. A hybrid build could work, but it's very expensive, and even then, it's just kinda okay. The main reason I play Xinyan is just for aesthetic purposes really. It's just her color scheme and her character design. Recently, they finally added story for Xinyan in Labyrinth Warriors, yeah? It's been a year since she ever appeared in the story, and I think this event increases Xinyan fan base by a lot, right? So I'm proud to say I'm one of the 3 players that ever built Xinyan at all, and now all of you are just following through. Alright.